Week 2 of the NFL season for the Green Bay Packers. Boy, is it going to be an interesting week for sure. As of right now, Jordan Love is still not been ruled out, but I still find it highly unlikely that they throw him out. Just like a little over a week removed from his MCL sprain. Now, maybe next week we might see a more clear picture that he might be able to give it a go, but I find it hard to believe if him playing this week. I really do. I mean, I would love in my heart of hearts to think that Jordan Love would be able to play this week, but chances are probably not very good. So, what does that mean? Malik Willis is starting quarterback. And now, as a Packer fan, you pray that he is not terrible. Now, I think the Packers have a good enough team around him, especially in that offense, to still get points with Malik Willis. It's just they're going to pressure the hell out of him, and he's going to have to be able to throw the ball. He's just flat out. He's going to have to be able to throw the ball or get it short to Jaden Reed and get him in the space and out down the field. But let's get into it. Let me know what you think. Have and comment, subscribe, all of that, and let's get into it. Now the Packers. Malik Willis, he just really hasn't had a good chance to really show what he has in the NFL. I mean, he's some of the best game film you'll ever see coming out of college, but Liberty was a smaller school. It's basically just kind of like a schoolyard that allowed him to do whatever the hell he wanted. Never really showed him any of the guidance or proper offense that would be run at most other major college programs. Now, him going into it, he's kind of behind the eight ball compared to a lot of other people. Now, last week, he came in not really knowing the playbook, and it's really hard to really expect him to, win the game. But it would have been nice for him to at least get the ball off instead of taking a sack on the final play. But I think they'll work through him enough to, be able to run the offense a little better this week. Still have Josh Jacobs. Maybe Marshawn Lloyd will be able to play and spread that out a little bit. They're going to have to be able to run the ball effectively because the Colts defense is going to stack that box against the Packers all day long and force Malik Willis to throw it down the field. Now, good thing you have a bunch of nice young receivers, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, especially Jaden Reed. They can stretch the field and get open, but Malik Willis is just going to have to be able to get him there. Now, if you can get the ball to the receivers, they have a pretty decent chance of winning. Josh Jacobs needs to be efficient like he was in the second half last week. He can't get off to a slow start and then hope to get going in the second half. I don't think the Packers are going to have that luxury. Not saying the Colts are going to flat out blow out the Packers, because even still, as good as Richardson played last week, we still haven't seen really the full measure of what he could probably be. So, yeah. Also, the offensive line is going to have to be better. Rasheed Walker cannot. I mean, he couldn't be much worse than he was last week. He couldn't stop anyway. They bull rushed him just about every time, and he was falling on his ass or holding just about every other play. It seemed like he was getting charged all day long. Jordan Morgan was fine. The rest of the offensive line had lots of penalties all over the place, and it was just not a great week for the Packers offensive line. Now, yes, they were playing up against one of the best defensive lines in the NFL, but still, you expect your offensive line to be a little better off. I mean, it really brings into focus the kind of competition they were playing during the preseason. That is the Packers offensive line really as good as we thought? Maybe they're not. I think they should be able to handle the Colts defense or for the most part. Now, Leatu Latu is one of those guys, those special guys that can really wreck your game plan and really get into the backfield. And if he's able to get past Rasheed Walker or whoever he's lined up against, it's going to be a long day for the Packers, and they're probably not going to win. Now, if they're able to hold up a little better, cut down some of those penalties, cut down some of those false starts, and every other illegal formation penalties, cut down on some of those, I think they have a really great shot at winning. Now the defense. Let's go to the defense for a little bit. Defense had some good plays last week. Forced some turnovers, got a couple sacks in there, and it's good. But then at times it got actually absolutely beat down the field. A.J. Brown didn't have the greatest game, but then he had that one deep touchdown that really showed up the rest of the night. Now, Alec Pierce is just like A.J. Brown in a way. He can really stretch the field. He can really get down the field fast, and he has really great hands as well. Michael Pittman is one of the more underrated wide receivers in the league. He's not the deep threat that Alec Pierce is, but he can get down there, and he's got great hands as well, great possession wide receiver as well. And if they're not able to contain them, not to mention that even that Jonathan Taylor, if Jonathan Taylor gets going early, it could be a long day. I think the Packers rush defense should be able to, hold him down a little bit. Maybe limit him to under 100 yards. They're going to have to limit Jonathan Taylor to under 100 yards if they're going to succeed this week. Now, Anthony Richardson has that special arm. He has all the physical attributes. I mean, he looks built for the position. It's just sometimes he's not the most accurate player in the world. So that time can really get him into some trouble. Last weekend we completed 9 plays, but the ones he did, I mean, that one 60-yard bomb that he made was just so pretty. So pretty. That's the kind of pass that any quarterback would dream of to be able to throw down the field. Now, if they can limit him on those kinds of plays, the Packers have a really good shot at winning. Jair Alexander, no, if you get an interception in the end zone, don't run it out. Stay in the end zone. Get it at the 30. That was absolutely retarded. Why would you do that? Again, on the kickoff return, if it goes to you in the end zone, just take the knee and take it at the 30. I know this new whole kickoff system is meant to increase returns, but it just has done anything but. I mean, there's only been like a handful of returns in all the games that have been played this year, and I don't see it getting any better. I mean, it's just, they're just kicking it into the end zone just about every time, and, not to mention the kicking's going to have to be better. Braden Arfson is still a rookie, so I still think he'll continue to get better. It's just, it really sucks looking back now. The kicker position is just not something that, you grasp right away. It's kind of a different feel in the NFL than it is a college game. More better rushers, and, it's just a growing period. Now, I kind of wish they would have just kept Anders Carlson on, to be honest. Braden Arfson isn't bad. He still has a good leg, but he needs to make them. I mean, last week's kick that he made was like just a little over 40 yards, and he should have been able to make it, and he missed it. I mean, now it didn't really matter too much. The Packers were able to hold them to a field goal in their possession, but still, it's like, it's got to be better. Packers got to improve in so many areas from last week. Now, there was a lot of good, for sure. Like I said, the defense had a couple of turnovers, which is good. Now I think Anthony Richardson can be prone to that, and you could force him into some. They're just going to have to take advantage of those chances and really take advantage. With a quarterback like Malik Willis, the defense is going to have to take advantage of every opportunity, get a pick, get a sack, or anything. Loss of downs, tackle for a loss. All that is going to have to be extra up there. Now, I think Rashawn Gary should be able to get in there. Lucas Van Ness, I think, has an opportunity to get in there. Devontae Wyatt. The whole secondary looks great for the most part. Javon Bullard, I think he could have a really big week for them. There's all sorts of players out there on the Packers defense that could have a big week. I'm not saying the Colts are the best team are the worst team in the world, but they're not the best. They're middle of the road. They played a really good game against Houston last week and nearly pulled off with the win. And that would have been one of the big wins of the weekend. But I don't think the Packers are necessarily going to lose this game. Far from it. Frankly, right now, I'm going to pick the Packers to win. I think the Packers can win and beat the Colts. I think it's going to be a relatively low-scoring game. 20-17. Now, it could very well be higher than that. Now, you're probably asking, can Malik Willis lead the Packers to 21? I think he can. I really do. I think they'll have him coached up. I think they'll have him ready. I think they have a good enough team around them. Yes, the offensive line was not great last week because I think they can definitely do better. Josh Jacobs showed that he can still be a great running back in the second half last week. Marshawn Lloyd, I think, has all the talent in the world. Hopefully he's able to go this week. Still had 3-4 great wide receivers that can really stretch the field, really get in there. Use Jaden Reed on the end arounds and other plays like that. Go into your bag of tricks. And no, you're not. Or I don't think Matt LaFleur is going to go too deep into the bag of tricks this week, with Malik Willis being a far less quarterback than what Jordan Love is. But his ability to be able to stretch the field and get out of the pocket could be a big asset for the Packers this week. he can use his leg to make plays. He has a pretty good arm. He just needs to have the accuracy to find the wide receivers, and the Packers have a couple good wide receivers that can definitely take advantage of his arm strength. Now, remains to be seen what's going to happen. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. I really think the Packers have a good chance to win, but let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that's crazy and that the Packers have no chance to win. I'd love to hear from you. Going to be a blowout, as always, on which team will win this week, so check that out. Otherwise, have a great day. God bless, and go Pack. Go.